decision. But Chael, he fought Tito Ortiz recently, and it was kind of a shocking performance. Tito tapped him out in, what was it? I don't know, 25, 30 seconds on the floor. Super quick fight. So I expected that fight to end very badly for Chael, because also I used to train with Rampage. And Rampage is hard to take down, really hard to take down. Well, he was back in the day anyway. Always had incredibly strong hips. He was very, very hard to take down. And then I just thought, being at heavyweight, okay, Rampage has spoken publicly about how he doesn't want to, he's not a fan of training. He loves to fight, but he's not a fan of training. And I just thought maybe being at heavyweight would make him even harder to take down. If it's hard enough to take down a 220-pound Rampage, taking down a 250-pound Rampage would be damn near impossible. That's what I thought. Obviously, I was wrong. Chael went out there, had a great first round, was hitting him, connecting with him on the feet. And then those takedowns took him down, pretty much controlled him throughout the whole of the fight. So, I guess congratulations to Chael. That's all we can say, really.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Rampage, I almost feel like Rampage is a guy who he seems like he's been just showing up for a paycheck for a long time. And also I feel like Rampage hasn't really evolved much as a fighter ever. I mean, it's really since I've been watching him, and I saw Rampage. The first UFC event I ever saw live was UFC 71, Chuck Liddell versus Rampage. What a fucking event that was to go see live. That was the fall of Chuck Liddell. It was crazy, and I was a huge Chuck Liddell fan.
That was when Rampage went in. Chuck went in with a body shot, and then Rampage caught him with I think it was right hook, whatever, knocked him out. That's for sure. I'm just sending you Chael's phone number. Can we give him a call live on air? See if he picks up.
Yeah, I mean, should you want to maybe text him first? You want to just put him on the spot?
Yeah, all right, let's do that. It would have been fun just to hear his reaction. But
sure, we can do that too. I don't care. Fuck it. You want to?
Gonna call you right now from my podcast. Talking your fight. Pick up if you can.
Mike, I think it's good. To be honest with you, I think it's, in order to just do it like this, it's going to be easier for you to just call him and put him on speaker to your phone, to your thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you not just call from there? All right.
We
Should
can.
I do that? You think that'll pick it up?
We can, but I want to make sure that you're going to be able to hear him. We didn't test it, so I don't want to fuck it up. But that'll be fine. We'll be able to hear him. Who gives a fuck?
Let's just see.
Call him.
He probably won't pick up, but can you hear this? Hold on.
Your call has been forwarded.
No, shh, you're gonna give his number. No. Dude, they just need like 3 numbers and they got it all, dude. Trust me.
That was an area code. But it's safe to say he's not picking up. Either he got my text and hung up immediately, or turned his phone off, or it was an area code, Lewis. It's no big deal. You want to know my area code?
Let's get him on next week. I'm
EFI.
Go fuck yourself. I'm a huge fan of Chael. God bless him. Good for him. It's a weird thing, right? And as I compliment Bellator, then on the flip side of it, I think of guys like Rampage and Chael as being partially retired, And it's hard. It's hard to not.
I think that Rampage now is looking this as a resurgence in his MMA career. He's with a new coach, with a new team. He's with Bellator. He had that whole thing with Bellator and the UFC, and I think that he wants to have another crack at it. I mean, of course, he came in at 253 something pounds. But I think he's trying hard. I mean, I saw on Instagram he was in the gym a lot. He was working hard. So, who knows? I mean, Chael's a tricky customer. Chael's a pain in the ass. He really is. His wrestling's very, very good. So, yeah. Oh, well, unlucky, Rampage, and congrats, Chael Sonnen. I think the interesting thing, though, for anyone that's interested with this Bellator heavyweight tournament is that it's a heavyweight tournament, but all the guys in the prime are the light heavyweights. So you got Chael. Okay, he's not necessarily in his prime, but he was a middleweight. Then you've got Rampage, who was a light heavyweight. Now he's fighting at heavyweight. You got Frank Mir, who, it's fair to say, no disrespect to Frank Mir, nothing against Frank Mir, but he's been around for a long, long time, and maybe his best days are behind him. If I'm wrong, I apologize, and maybe he can go out there and prove us all wrong. Fedor Emelianenko, I think it's fair to say his glory days have passed. Roy Nelson, once again. But then you've got Ryan Bader, the current light heavyweight champion, who is still very much in his prime. King Mo, who's still very much in his prime. So we might see Chael, King Mo, Ryan Bader, these types of guys, because they're in their prime. They're more athletic. They're not going to be lazy. And we might see the heavyweight Grand Prix turn into basically some blown up middle or light heavyweights.
I'm rooting for fucking Frank Mir. I hope Frank Mir comes in juiced to the gills. I want to see Frank Mir with abs.
Where's my coffee, Bobby?
Yeah, Bobby, get him some fucking coffee. Here's the thing, man. Like, I'm an old school Frank Mir fan as well. So, if you lose to these guys, if you lose to Chael Sonnen, who is a fucking middleweight, all of his success in his career has been at middleweight. That's a problem. And is that who Chael's fighting next? Is he fighting the winner of?
No, he fights the winner of
Mir,
Emelianenko, and Frank Mir.
Yeah.
So it's a tricky spot. It's a tricky spot.
But good for Chael. That's a fucking real ass dude move right there. Because Chael is just saying fuck it, dude. That no matter what, there's no way that Chael doesn't look like a badass here. Good for him.
Yeah, no, for sure, absolutely. And, they call him the bad guy, the gangster, whatever. And I guess, it is a pretty gangster move. So, well done, Chael Sonnen, on a great victory at the weekend. And honestly, I can only hold a discussion about Bellator for so long before I want to shoot myself in the face. Now,
wait, hold on. Real quick. I wanted to just, because we're talking about Bellator and it does relate to it.
Okay.
Cyborg.
Yes.
She said, this was pretty interesting. And I think this is her pulling a smart move and kind of playing politics. But she said that she's going to have to go to Bellator to test herself in order to really prove that she's the toughest 145-pound female fighter in the world.
Is she crazy?
Well, they actually have 145-pound fighters. The UFC
I know, but the thing is, the UFC are really getting behind her. The UFC have created this division for her. I'm not talking smack. I'm not trying to knock Cris. Obviously, we've got the same coach. She trains at the same gym. She's great. She's a nice girl. I just feel that sometimes she keeps going head-to-head with the UFC. And, of course, you're allowed to have differences with people or companies or whatever it may be. But, don't go out there and say, after defending the belt, after they made a division for you, after you just fought in a main event, after they've just announced that she's probably fighting Amanda Nunes in a super fight at International Fight Week this year, June or July this year, then don't go out and mention the number one competition to the organization, even though they're not competition, and say that that's where she'd have to go to get competition. I just, Chris, God bless you. Do you, of course. But, it's just not smart, I don't think.
Well, maybe not. I don't know. I mean, you don't have to necessarily.
Think Bellator are going to pay her what she earns in the UFC?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, dude. I think that Cyborg is a huge star. I think that Bellator, for certain people, I think that they're giving them more money than the UFC is paying because the UFC, they stop being valuable. The reason the Bellator is stealing certain guys over is because the UFC looks at them after a while and says, hey, fuck it, dude. You know what? You're not worth that price tag anymore. And Bellator thinks that they are. Cyborg, if she went to Bellator,
you want to hear what they paid, what Bellator paid at the weekend. This is according to MMA.tv. Main card, Chael Sonnen, 300 grand. Quincy Jackson, 300 grand. Rory McDonald, 100,000. Douglas, 100. Michael Chandler, 50. And then before you know it, we're on Joey Davis, 7,000. Ian Butler, 1,500. Obviously, it goes down. So,
think of a cheeseburger. Fucking.
Yeah, listen, we'll give you a cheeseburger. There you go.
They give him a high five and a compliment.
Did he win, Ian Butler? He trains. Oh, no, he didn't. Unlucky. So, shit. There's that glass table, Lewis.
Oh, well, look,
everybody listening, Lewis told me not to buy a glass table because it makes noises.
Lots of noises. But
told me that after I bought it, by the way. Told me that after I bought it.
Look, I'm saying that I don't know what the UFC was paying Chael or Rampage towards the end of their contracts, but I'm assuming it has to be comparable. They weren't making they weren't like huge pay-per-view stars that were fucking, I don't know.
Chael and Anderson rematch.
That was
I think did like close to 1 million buys. So that's a lot of money.
But that was it. It was the combination of those two guys. I don't think Chael was going out and fucking like, blowing the roof off with any of the other fights. In fact, Chael, for the most part, was too respectful in his other fights. I think that kind of like bit him in the ass because he was so good against Anderson Silva and against like the Nogueiras and all the shit that he did on the Brazilians. That
he was good. He was good back in the day.
Then like against you,
it was great. But when he talked about what was he trying to do? Feed a cheeseburger to the bus or something.
Oh no way. He said the Nogueiras got off the bus in Brazil and tried to feed the bus a carrot because they'd never been on a bus. They thought it was a horse.
Yeah, Chael was good back in the day. My God.
Yeah.
He was good.